Good evening. Thank you very much for joining us. This is Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I'm Ruth. Aguele. Let's take you to Niamey, where President Muhammadu Buhari has strongly warned that with the enormous socio-economic and security challenges confronting West Africa, the sub-region cannot afford another political crisis in the guise of tenure elongation. Now, this was while addressing the 57th extraordinary session of the Authority of ECOWAS Heads of State and Government in Niamey, the Republic of Niger. The president is also worried over the premature adoption of ECO as single currency by French-speaking West African countries, stressing the need for them to return to agreed roadmap as foreign interference may be in the interest of the sub-region. We'll definitely bring you the details of this report in our subsequent bulletin. And in the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari, who is already in the Niamey, Republic of Niger, has presented as an ECOWAS champion on the fight against COVID-19, has formally submitted a situation report on the global pandemic to the West African leaders. He described as gloomy the outlook for the sub-region, saying, however, that collective resolve must be demonstrated towards harnessing the opportunities that come with the pandemic, despite its negative impact on lives and livelihoods. The president said member countries must pull resources together in unity for joint and coordinated efforts to ensure a regional response to the fight against COVID-19. Now, this, he said, will go a long way towards saving the present and future generations from multiple health challenges. He said efforts must also be redoubled in preparing their national economies to withstand impending shocks against prospective multi-sectoral challenges that await the sub-region. President Buhari, however, said this is no easy task, hence the need for the ECOWAS leaders to embrace their collective vision for the future with greater determination, innovative thinking and creativity. The summit also received reports on security and the ECOWAS single currency, amongst others. And back home, amidst outcry raised by Nigerians over the increase in fuel pump price and electricity tariff, President Muhammadu Buhari says his government is not insensitive to the current economic difficulties people are going through and the very tough economic situation the nation is facing, stressing that government certainly will not inflict hardship on the people. Speaking through Vice President Professor Yemi Oshibajo at the opening of a two-day ministerial performance review retreat, the president says he is convinced that if the nation stays focused on its plans, brighter and more prosperous days will come soon. President Buhari says ministers and senior officials must accordingly ensure the vigorous and prompt implementation of the economic sustainable plan programs, which will give succor to Nigerians. We'll bring you the details of this also in our subsequent bulletin. Let's look at security matters. Troops of Operation Lafia Dole have rescued 7 kidnapped victims and eliminated 5 terrorists in Borno State. A statement by the Coordinator of Defense Media Operations, Major General John Eneche, says the successful operation conducted with support from the Air Task Force Operation Lafia Dole is sequel to credible intelligence on the activities of Boko Haram ISWAP terrorists at Hamdaga Makaranta town in Goza local government area of Borno State. Major General Eneche notes that 9 identified isolated Boko Haram ISWAP structures and farmlands in the area were also destroyed. The military high command commended the gallant troops for their dexterity and encourages them to intensify the onslaught against the criminal elements in the northeast. And in the meantime, troops of Operation Well Struck have arrested 8, killed 1 bandit in Benue and Nasarawa states. A statement by the Coordinator of Defense Media Operations, Major General John Eneche again, indicates that 4 of the bandits were eliminated during a raid on their hideout in Se Aguele West local government area of Benue State. Major General Eneche notes that one of the bandits met his Waterloo when troops stormed bandits' camp along Benue-Nasarawa border. Several arms were recovered from the encounter. The military commends the public for providing credible intelligence information that facilitated the successful operation. All right, and still staying in Benue State, Governor Samuel Otom of Benue State has given armed youths from Sankera in the state up to Tuesday this week to surrender their arms and be reintegrated into the society. The governor stated this while inaugurating some projects executed by his administration. Let's get more details from Charles Abba.
Stakeholders from the Sankara Axis had appealed to Governor Samuel Otom to give armed youths operating in the area another chance to enable them to embrace peace and be part of the society. It is in this regard that the governor has given up to Tuesday, September 8, 2020, for the armed youths to surrender their weapons and be reintegrated into the community.
But let me warn that all those who will resist and not turn out to surrender their weapons and accept this last opportunity that we're granted them, I want to assure them that the security forces in Benue State will come out against them in full force.
Governor Otom stressed the need for people of Sankara to live in peace as to ensure meaningful development. Senator representing the Northeast, Gabriel Suswam, attested to the fact that the armed youths had confessed to be fed up with life in the bush and wished to be free. From Ukum, Charles Abba, NTA News.
Our next set of reports, it's coming from Lagos, and Adeola will guide us. Adeola.
Thank you, Ruth. The National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, has entered into a strategic partnership with the Lagos State government as a follow-up to its quest to curbing human trafficking. Annie Daniels reports that this is further enhanced by the inauguration of a task force for proper implementation of the laws against such acts.
The National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, since inception has recorded great feats, and to further enhance the actualization of its mandate and vision, the agency has gone a step further by collaborating with the Lagos State government. Director General NAPTIP, Julie Donlioka, says the inauguration of the task force on human trafficking is very pertinent in actualizing the dream.
We have endemic areas where trafficking is very common, and we expect, that the state will go after these traffickers here in Lagos State, the task force, of course, to ensure that they stamp human trafficking out of Lagos State.
The overall objective of the task force is the coordination and reactivation of technical interagency cooperation meetings with key players to protect victims of human trafficking after access to justice, prosecution of human traffickers, and enhance the process of successful rehabilitation of victims.
There's a lot of organ harvesting going on. Organs of people are taken, frozen, and sent out by speedboats and by air to other countries.
One of the major works that the task force should do is to enlighten people, let people know where to go to seek redress.
The State Task Force on Human Trafficking will be chaired by the Attorney Generals of all states of the Federation, and representatives will be drawn from key ministries and agencies. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
And moving on now to transportation. Worried by the spate of road crashes involving trucks conveying petroleum products across the country, a situation that often leads to tragic consequences, two key agencies are working harmoniously towards arresting the development. Lynn Leneke reports on the partnership for this objective between the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, and the Department of Petroleum Resources, DPR, in Lagos.
Major roads across the country remains critical to the development of the nation's economy. To ensure that movement of persons and goods are hitch-free, the synergy between the FRSC and DPR is aimed at closing loopholes that enable mishaps on the highways and other routes across the nation. Reckless driving and disregard for professionalism by most petroleum tanker drivers were ticked as some of the reasons for minor and fatal crashes that occur on a regular basis.
All articulated vehicles fleet owners must register. So if you don't register on RCSS portal, they must not be allowed to load.
A lot of consequence management that we use to deter So regular sensitization, then development and deployment of enlightenment program, which like scooping, mass media, we are doing it in many Nigerian languages.
Description of vehicle registration numbers on the tanks of trucks for easy identification and periodic checks of haulage vehicles at loading points by Task Force Committee was named as one of the measures to check the menace. With this mutual agreement between the FRSC and DPR, optimism is high that road accidents caused by instability of some petroleum truck drivers will be reduced. In Lagos, Lynn Lenake, NTA News.
And now to security. The Nigeria Police Force has reiterated its commitment to the war against crime and criminality in Lagos State. The Assistant Inspector General of Police Criminal Investigation Department Annex, Alagbon Ikoyi, Lagos, Uche Anozia, made the pledge at a press briefing to sensitize the public on the menace of hard drugs at the Force CID Ikoyi. Nosa Osula reports.
First, the Federal Special Anti-Robbery Squad had received credible intel on suspicious activities of members of an international drugs syndicate, and after sustained surveillance, detectives from the Special Anti-Robbery Squad swooped in on the syndicate and made arrests.
While in custody, the suspects excreted 123 wraps of substances suspected to be hard drug, which they had ingested preparatory to traveling abroad. In the course of interrogation, the suspects confessed to be members of an international drug syndicate sponsored by a baron they have not met in person. The suspects and exhibits are to be handed over to NDLEA for further investigation. We seize this opportunity to advise parents, guardians, as well as community and religious leaders to redouble their effort in inculcating the virtues of honesty and hard work in our youths, and to emphasize at every opportunity that crime does not pay.
The Assistant Inspector General added that the war against crime is unrelenting and will continue until all those who benefit from crime are brought to book across the state. In Lagos, Nosa Osula, NTA News.
And that's it from Lagos. We'll take a break now. The news will continue thereafter with Ruth in Abuja.
The College Jos, an affiliate of Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, is currently admitting students for its ordinary diploma programs in television journalism, television production, and television engineering. Interested candidates are advised to obtain relevant information concerning eligibility at our website at www.ntatvc.edu.ng or marketing department of any NTA station nationwide. For further information, contact Assistant Director, Marketing, NTA TV College Jos on 0803-314-4383 or the Academic Office of the College on 0806-980-9807. Announcer, Registrar.
A 24-hour news station brings to you news and happenings 7 days a week.
News at 10 a.m., news update at 11 and 1 p.m.
News desk at 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. and late evening news at 11 p.m.
Follow us on any of our platforms and keep abreast of events and current affairs within and outside our shores.
We are on DSTV channel 419, GoTV channel 46,
StarTimes channel 101 and Free TV channel 703. Join us.
A new edition of TV Guide is out, featuring great personalities from all walks of life. Expository interview with a young TV presenter who shows passion on what she does, Morayo Afolabi Brown of TVC. Pick a copy of this compendium of mind-blowing stories and get abreast with issues as regards media convergence, leadership, health, star profiles, star programs, fashion, sports, human angle stories, and lots more. Meet some media professionals within our space who have paid their dues in no small ways. TV Guide, very incisive, very educative, and compelling. Grab a copy at the vendor near you or NTA stations nationwide. TV Guide, your indispensable companion.
Welcome back. Let's talk road safety now, which is everybody's business. And joining me in the studio for more on that is the Deputy Corps Commander, National Traffic Radio of the FRSC, DCC Akpososo Edoja Kennedy. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, now we know that accidents are frequent, especially during this raining season. What would you say is the cause for that? And what has the FRSC put in place to reduce accidents this time?
Yes, you are correct, because this period we normally experience increase in road traffic crashes. And the factors are many, but I'll just mention a few of them.
Okay.
Within this period, there's high vehicular and human movement. And of course, people have this myth that there's an evil spirit that normally suck blood on the highway, which is not true.
You're talking about the ember months now.
Yeah, the ember months.
I'm talking about the raining season first.
Basically, the rainy season, before we do rainy season, we normally educate the motorists. And we should ensure that the vehicles they are driving are in good shape. Both of will ensure that their wipers, the tires, because normally if the tire is not good, there won't be any grip. If you depress the brake,
because the roads are slippery.
Yeah, there is kind of film, a layer of water between the surface and the tire. There will be a layer of water. So if you don't have if the tire doesn't have a good treading, that means there won't be serious grip. So this is stopping the thinking and stopping distance. So the stopping will be extended. Okay. So that could lead to road traffic crashes.
So what is the Corps doing in that regard to reduce crashes?
What we do in that, we do what's called sustained public enlightenment. As we're talking now, all the field commands, we have public enlightenment officers in all the field commands in every part of this country. We tell them to go to parks, go to churches, go to mosques, and educate the public on the dangers of driving within their hazards within this period. So we enlighten the public on how to drive within this period. So we tell them they should indulge what's called defensive driving.
Okay.
Driving in such a manner that you assume that there could be hazard any moment, any time.
Okay, and since you already started talking about the ember months, let's just go there.
Yes.
There's this belief. What is the Corps doing to demystify that belief that the ember months comes with a lot of crashes?
Yeah, it has been an unfortunate trend that between September and December, there's usually increase in road traffic crashes. And this is due mainly to increase in vehicular and human movement from one part of the nation to another part of this country. So what we do with this ember months is ensure that there's massive deployment of men and materials. As we're talking now, if the commercial Dr. Boboyo has sent an operational guideline to all the field commands, the zonal commands, 27 sector commands, over 200 unit commands, and outposts, as well as other formations, that they must ensure public enlightenment. Then with this period, we are going to do what's called massive enforcement, so that those who do not comply, conduct those people that they like breaking laws. So we ensure that those people do not use the road carelessly, so that they don't endanger themselves and endanger other road users.
What of motor parks to reduce drinking, while driving?
Yeah, even as we're talking with you, we have reached a kind of agreement with unions of the various motor parks to ensure that they don't alcohol is sold within motor parks. Because we discovered that drunk driving is one major cause of road traffic crash. Apart from overspeeding, we only observe that drunk driving is a major cause of road traffic crashes in Nigeria. Yes. So that issue is squarely be addressed at various levels. At the motor park, if we will do PE on the churches, the mosque, even so that we do tests, we have what we call brutalizers.
Okay.
When our men go to patrol, they go with it, so that if they suspect the driver is drunk, it is administered. Then when it's beyond a certain percentage, like that is 0.05 milligrams per 100 liters, or 5%.
All right.
So once beyond this limit, you have violated the traffic regulation. So appropriate penalties meted out to such a person.
All right, safety is everybody's business.
Yeah,
no doubt.
definitely.
Thank you very much. DCC Akpososo Kennedy, thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.
All right, let's take you to Benin to talk politics, where the APC Campaign Council has organized a mega summit in the city to chart a course for the winning agenda for the party in the forthcoming Edo governorship election. Ifeoma Okafor will tell us more.
In this hall are non-governmental organizations, civil society groups, labor subcommittees and professionals from across the state. They are interfacing with Pastor Izeyamo, who is the governorship candidate of the APC. The chairman of the occasion, who is also a Federal House of Representatives member, Professor Julius Ihonvere, said Izeyamo is the best choice.
We are at that moment when we must reflect, when we must invoke our fundamental rights to demand good governance, good leadership, accountable leadership, responsible leadership.
A former House of Reps member, Razak Bello Osagie, said now is the time to take Edo State to the next level. Pastor Izeyamo used the opportunity to sell his campaign agenda, the simple agenda mantra, to the participants.
There shall be regular town hall meetings with relevant stakeholders as a way of bringing government closer to the people, as well as a quarterly briefing on government activities by relevant heads of NTAs. Promote gender equality and women's rights by engendering sustainable development goals agenda that is capable of eradicating gender-based violence.
Participants later asked questions on grey areas. In Benin, Ifeoma Okafor, NTA News.
The Controller General, Nigerian Correctional Service, Jafaru Ahmed, says effective implementation of non-custodial measures introduced in 2019 will play a crucial role in the effort to decongest custodial centers in the country. He stated this at a one-day training program for state and zonal correctional officers held in Owerri, Imo State. Kinsley Ono Niwo has details.
Over the years, congestion of custodial centers across the country has been of great concern to Nigerians. This situation is, however, changing for good following the signing into law of the 2019 Nigeria Correctional Service Act by President Muhammadu Buhari. Speaking at the one-day training on effective implementation of non-custodial measures, the Controller General, Nigeria Correctional Service, Jafaru Ahmed, represented by the Controller of Corrections, Planning, Research and Statistics, Amos Kupan, says the training program is part of the effort being made by the service to decongest the nation's custodial centers.
With this non-custodial, many people, first-time offenders that are sentenced to non-custodial, will no longer go into our facilities, and which has helped to decongest our facilities.
The Assistant Controller General of Nigeria Correctional Service in charge of Zone E, Owerri, Chuks Chibua, says the non-custodial measures will put an end to unnecessary imprisonment of minor offenders.
The introduction of the non-custodial measure will address the issue of congestion in prisons, reducing the congestion and expediting action in the domain of quick justice dispensation.
A lot of things have changed. First is we now have an aspect of corrections that focus on the community. So you have the custodial service and you have the non-custodial service, because those were the things that the new act said that has to happen.
The event attracted officers from the Nigeria Correctional Service, Zone E, in Owerri. Kinsley Onaniwu, NTA News.
All right, let's take you back to the report we called earlier from Niamey, where we said President Muhammadu Buhari has warned that the enormous socio-economic and security challenges confronting West Africa cannot afford another political crisis. Let's get the details from Adamu Sambo.
Converging on Niamey for the first time under one roof since the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic, the West African leaders clearly demonstrated their renewed commitment towards strengthening the integration of the ECOWAS sub-region.
In order to ensure peace and security in our common area, we have a duty not only to honor our pledges, but also to develop and implement a joint defense and security policy. I wish to thank the Federal Republic of Nigeria for its recent decision to provide a contribution of $100 million after a similar gesture by UMY in 2019.
I would like particularly to congratulate President Muhammadu Buhari for leading the regional COVID-19 response efforts.
President Muhammadu Buhari, who addressed the summit in a closed session, expressed worry over attempts by some leaders in West Africa to perpetuate themselves in power beyond constitutional provisions. He advised that such temptations must be resisted and free, fair, as well as credible polls guaranteed, as the sub-region cannot afford another political crisis. On plans towards the actualization of the single currency program, the president said the premature adoption of ECO by the francophone countries in the sub-region has unnecessarily heightened disaffection and mistrust amongst members. While urging them to return to the agreed roadmap, President Buhari insists that those economic convergence criteria must be based on sound and sustainable macroeconomic fundamentals. And to achieve this, he said, the linking the CFA franc from the Eurozone is the starting point, saying African solutions must be preferred for African problems. The Nigerian leader also touched on terrorism as the greatest security threat in West Africa, saying Nigeria is particularly concerned with the rapidity at which terrorist groups are now working together against the interests of member countries. President Muhammadu Buhari said urgent steps must be taken to review these ugly developments and act decisively on the emergence of early warning signs towards guaranteeing the safety and survival of the sub-region. From Niamey, Republic of Niger, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
All right, let's look at some pressing issues back home. The attention of the Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, has been drawn to the proposed strike action by members of the National Association of Resident Doctors. In a statement, the minister notes that in 3 conciliatory meetings, the NMAs attested to the fact that 6 out of 8 demands listed by the group have been addressed comprehensively and satisfactorily. Dr. Ngige reminds NARD that it is against labour laws and ILO conventions for parties in conciliation over any issue to employ arm-twisting methods. The statement further adds that NARD already has pending cases in court, and for this reason, the Minister of Labour advises the group to respect the laws and withdraw the ultimatum issued to Down Tools with effect from Monday, September 7, 2020. Let's expand the discussion. We have the Publicity Secretary, NAD, that is National Association of Resident Doctors, Dr. Egbogu Stanley. He's here with us. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, the persistent threat to down tools, in hospitals, especially in these critical times of global pandemic the world is facing. Can't NAD reason with the government?
Well, I think NAD has been patient enough when it comes to the issue of going on strike on these issues. We've went on strike on the 22nd of June, and then on the 15th of June, and then we called it off on the 22nd of June, which only going home with promises from the government. And we believe that the government will attend to this problem. But at the end of the 4 weeks extension of the suspended strike, we noticed that government is not ready to do anything. We further extended it by another 3 weeks, which ended on the 17th of August, and nothing happened. So I want to know where the Minister of Labour is saying that they've attended to 6 out of 8. Let me start by saying, 1, we asked about the payment of COVID inducement allowance. The federal government only paid April and May. We are in September, and up till now, we've not heard anything about the remaining months, June, July, and August. Now, let me also say that he made it clear to us during the agreement with NMA that by September, a new reverse hazard allowance will be determined. Okay. And from there, doctors will now be paid their hazard allowance from September.
Dr. Stanley,
but up till now, we've not had anything from them.
Okay, Dr. Stanley, the minister unfortunately is not here to clarify that, but let's get your opinion on negotiations. From what the statement said, negotiations are already ongoing, so any hope for Nigerians?
These negotiations have not materialized into anything. On the 6th of August, we met with him. He told us he's going to pay June COVID. And as we speak now, out of the 54 centers, only 6 centers were paid. And we are in August, we are in September, and we've not had anything from them. Then let me also say that Part of our problem is also from the state government, because you have doctors that are under the state employment, like in River State. Yes, Onwike is not paying the people the appropriate grade level. I mean, the doctors that are working under his employ. You find out that it's not just River State, many other states. None of them is even paying COVID inducement allowance to all the states, and they are all our members, and our members are aggrieved. They are so pained that the government is insincere.
It's quite unfortunate from what you're saying, but emergencies, because at the end of it, the people bear the brunt. Are you considering emergencies in hospitals?
We also consider the people. We also need to consider ourselves. During this pandemic alone, we've lost up to 14 doctors. During this pandemic. Now, let me say, the government told us in June that they've procured a group life insurance for our members. And as we speak now, we've lost 14 members. None of those people have had any claims. Now, they say they've procured life insurance. They paid a premium to several companies. They listed a lot of companies. Now, all those people that died, can they attest to the fact that one person has received anything from them?
That's the much we can take. Thank you very much for your time. He is Dr. Egbogo Stanley, the Publicity Secretary for NAD. Let's now take you to Kaduna for our next set of stories, and Amina will guide us.
Welcome to Kaduna. Engineers fixing the failed portion of the Rigachikun Bridge have continued excavation work. This is preparatory to filling the caved-in portion of the bridge. Abdullah Mohammed has a situation report.
After a break on Sunday, work on the bridge has continued. The scope of work, however, seems to be increasing by the day. The engineers have focused their energy on fixing the transition bays which caved in 9 days ago. But the alternative bridge, which now carries the bulk of the traffic, has part of it plunging in. Another part of the bridge, which is closed for rehabilitation, is also slowly giving way. Now the contractor has 3 transition bays of the 2 bridges to fix. While conducting excavation work, the machines have damaged fiber optic cables of communication network providers, which may lead to disruptions. And what may become the biggest stumbling block towards finishing the work on time is the rupture of a water pipeline, which leaves the work area flooded.
With one of the pipes belonging to the Kaduna State Water Board being punctured while excavation works was going on, it means this work has to be delayed until that pipe is fixed. In Kaduna, Abdullah Mohammed, NTA News.
Executive Committee of the Northern Traditional Rulers Council has waded into the search for lasting peace in southern Kaduna with a promise for more decisive collaboration with federal and Kaduna State government. Major Ma Adamu reports on the expanded meeting of the council held in Kaduna.
It's a call to action in search for lasting peace in southern Kaduna and indeed across all flashpoints in the northern region, as the Northern Traditional Rulers convene at these pre-independence Northern Traditional Council chambers to deliberate on workable inputs that will aid the cause of sustainable peace in the region.
But I think it's time to put a stop to this madness.
Sultan Saad Abubakar stressing the unacceptability of the recurring crisis in southern Kaduna. This meeting, he says, is a follow-up to the meeting he held recently with Governor Nasir El-Rufai, and the participation goes beyond the statutory 19 northern states and Abuja chairman of Council of Chiefs, as traditional rulers from southern Kaduna and other stakeholders have been invited in search of sustainable peace.
I believe at the end of this session, we will come up with a position paper. We send to the Kaduna State government on the best way, or one of the best ways, for finding lasting solutions to peace and stability, not only in Kaduna State but in other parts of the northern states.
Governor Nasir El-Rufai, who briefed the committee, lamented that mischievous elements are exacerbating the southern Kaduna crisis by injecting ethnic and religious coloration, stressing, however, that with the collaborative effort of the federal and Kaduna State governments and good-spirited stakeholders, much has been achieved in restoring peace to the area.
Whenever any of these cases of banditry occur in the southern part of Kaduna, some mischievous people deliberately try to make it an ethnic or religious issue, where it is simply an issue of criminals that had been afflicting everyone in many parts of our region.
The governor promised to accord deserving consideration to the envisaged position paper of the traditional rulers. In Kaduna, Maijama Adamu, NTA News.
And that's it from here. It's back to Ruth in Abuja.
Thank you very much, Amina. 7th September 2020 marks the 4th United Nations International Day of Clean Air for Blue Skies, which highlights that air pollution is now the greatest environmental threat to health, though preventable. The day emphasizes availability of solutions and technology to change this and improve air quality, achieve cleaner air for healthier lives, protect nature and help attain global climate change goals through the engagement of individuals, private companies and governments. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres advocates reinforced environmental standards, policies and laws that prevent emissions of air pollutants, and at the international level, countries need to cooperate to help each other transition to clean technologies. He urged all countries to use post-COVID recovery packages to support the transition to healthy and sustainable jobs. Let's bring you an update on COVID-19. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control has announced 100 new cases of COVID-19 in the country. Lagos has 39, FCT 22, Kaduna 19, Oyo 7, Ebonyi 6, Edo 3. Katsina, Ekiti, Bauchi and Nasarawa states recorded 1 case each. There are now 55,005 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in the country. Discharge is 43,013 and 1,057 deaths have been recorded so far. The federal government has expressed determination to sustain and improve upon the monthly distribution of food items to internally displaced persons in the Northeast, describing the speculation of hunger in the region as baseless and unfounded. Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, stated this in Maiduguri soon after a closed-door meeting with some developmental partners and handing over of items, that is food items, to Borno State government. Let's get more details from Ilyasu Aliyekubu.
Since the outbreak of activities of Boko Haram insurgent in the northeast in 2008 and the resultant effects, the federal government has been evolving ways of providing relief items to the victims at different IDP camps in the region. Although the distribution then was not without some gaps. However, in 2017, the federal government came up with new strategies of door-to-door monthly distribution of food items to the IDPs in the Northeast. Since then, the issue of diversion and racketeering was put to rest. This is a visit of the Humanitarian Affairs Minister with cargo planes, loads of assorted food items to the IDPs in Maiduguri is part of the monthly commitment of the federal government. She said the plight of the less privileged and vulnerable Nigerians is being prioritized by President Muhammadu Buhari, hence the constant distribution of food items across the country, as well as palliatives as a result of COVID-19.
And we have all come to agree with one voice that no population in this country that has been affected by any kind of disaster, either in the Northeast or any other place, that is being faced with starvation. No population in Borno State is being faced with starvation. The government is doing its best. The humanitarian actors are doing their best, but as I mentioned, there are gaps, and we have come now to fill in those gaps.
The Director General of NEMA, Air Vice Marshal Muhammadu Mohammed, directed immediate distribution of the food items in collaboration with the State Emergency Management Agency. From Maiduguri in Borno State, Ilyasu Aliyakubu, NTA News.
And our next set of reports, it's coming from Enugu, where Chinenye will guide us. Chinenye.
Thank you, Ruth, and welcome to Enugu.
Enugu State government is to interface with the federal government to provide a lasting solution to the erosion menace ravaging Obinofia community in Ezagu local government area of the state. Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi announced this decision when he was accompanied by a team of engineers from the Federal Ministry of Works and the Nigerian Erosion and Watershed Management Agency to inspect an erosion-ravaged federal government road project in the area. Susan Eze has details.
The Oze-China Road in Obunofia, Ezagu, a federal government project under construction since 2013, was later abandoned due to lack of funds, leaving the road at the mercy of gully erosion. With a major access road in Obunofia in such deplorable state, the people's cry over the situation caught the attention of the state government. Having inspected the magnitude of devastation by erosion on the road and the environment, the governor promised that the state government will strive to ensure that the federal government returns to site, while the state, in the interim, will embark on remedial intervention after the rainy season. Officials of the Federal Ministry of Works, the construction company handling the project, and the Nigerian Erosion and Watershed Management Agency, NUMAP, gave more insight on the situation of the site.
The major road is from this Enugu here to Oka, but they decided to bring a spur to this community. As in why there is a delay in the progress of the project is majorly on finances.
Still basking in the renewed hope of intervention on the project, the Obunofia community also got a 5 million naira intervention from the state governor for upgrade of facilities at the maternity hospital in the community. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
In view of the recent predictions of flooding by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency in some states in the country, Nigerians have been advised to embrace activities that are environment-friendly to avert hazards capable of destroying the environment and causing flooding. Some environmental experts in Enugu gave the advice in an interview with our correspondent, Chika Ugu.
According to Nigeria Meteorological Agency NIMET's prediction for this year, there will be possibility of heavy rainfall, which may result in flooding and other environmental hazards in some parts of the country. This prediction has forced many states in the country taking precautionary measures ahead of the rainy season. Although Edo State is not one of the states projected to be prone to flooding, concerned authorities in the state have made all necessary efforts and has left no stone unturned to avoid being caught unaware.
We usually take proactive measures in Enugu State before any rainy season. We move around to make sure that we desert all the public drainages. Flooding can even erode some of our crops.
Conducive environments for residents. Some human activities have also been identified to be capable of causing environmental hazards. Activities like disposing dirt in drainages, erecting illegal structures mostly on undesignated areas, and deforestation.
I think the best way is for us to clear all our waterways. We should make sure the drainage channels are clear. And then we should make sure we plant trees that will help to stop flooding.
It is the view of environmental experts that governments must ensure construction of drainages on both sides of the roads and planting of trees. It is also important that people keep their environments clean. In Enugu, Chika Ugu, NTA News.
And that is it from Enugu. Nationwide continues with Ruth in Abuja after this commercial break. Do stay.
She cries. She cries in anguish and in pain. She bears the scourge of her grief. She toils in vain for justice and succumbs to silence. He gloats over his malady. Like a beast, he pounces with no remorse. Her cry means nothing. Her pain feeds her shame. Like an orphan, she's left to grieve in solitude. But no more will she cry in vain. Her adversaries will henceforth be brunt of their cruelty. Rape is evil. Rape is a plague, a pandemic of monumental consequences. We must unite and kick it out of our society.
Connect with NTA and stand against rape and rapists. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA.
ICPC and NTA say you can help Nigeria to flatten the curve on COVID-19, just as you can help flatten the curve on corruption. Follow transparency, accountability, and integrity just as you follow health guidelines. Stay home with integrity and maintain your distance from corruption, just as you stay away from COVID-19 by maintaining social distance. Report every act of corruption to ICPC just as you report COVID-19 to NCDC. Stay away from corruption, stay safe from COVID-19. Report any act of corruption to ICPC on toll-free number 0800-2255-4272. This message is brought to you by ICPC and NTA.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online. Or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
Thank you for staying tuned. Maiduguri is our next stop as we join Mohammed to bring us some stories on Nationwide. Mohammed?
Thank you, Ruth, and welcome to Maiduguri. Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umar Zulum has again stressed the need for proper manning of international borders between Borno State and 3 neighboring countries to end the decade-long insurgency. The governor reiterated his position when President and members of Alumni Association of National Institute for Policy paid him a solidarity visit at the Government House, Maiduguri. Mohammed Goni reports.
Professor Babagana Umar said the porous borders between Borno, Niger, Chad, and Cameroon is responsible for proliferation of firearms, resulting in the lingering Boko Haram crisis, which has led to untimely death of gallant troops as well as innocent civilians, with devastation of infrastructure.
Tackling the insurgency in Borno State entails reducing insurgency in the whole nation.
The governor then expressed the need for all hands to be on deck to salvage Borno, the entire northeast and the country from the hands of the armed insurgents. He restated his administration's commitment to a continuous support for the military and other security operatives in the counter-insurgency operations. Professor Zulum, who is also a member of the AANI, appreciated the body for the solidarity visit and to condole him over the death of Left Chief of Staff, Dr. Babagana Wakil. President of the AANI, IGP Muhammad Abubakar retired, who noted with regrets the recent upsurge in violence attack by the insurgents, said the association deemed it necessary to undertake the solidarity visit in order to show Nigerians and the world that Governor Zulum is not alone in taking Borno State to a greater height. He noted the numerous developmental projects spread across the state, which have direct impact on the lives of the citizenry, including healthcare delivery, education, poverty alleviation, as well as youth and women empowerment, among others. In Maiduguri, Muhammad Goni, NTA News.
Towards ensuring provision of quality education at the newly established Borno State University, the institution's Vice-Chancellor has sought the collaboration of Northeast Development Commission, NEDC. Maimuna Garba reports.
The visit by the management staff of the Borno State University is to seek collaboration with Northeast Development Commission to support provision of a sound and quality education in the state. Vice-Chancellor of the University, Professor Umar Kyari Sandabe, said as the new institution strives to deliver on its mandate, there is need for bodies like the NEDC to assist the university. He appealed for the Commission's intervention to improve infrastructural level of the university to enable it to provide credible training platform to complement the effort of the University of Maiduguri. Other areas of intervention, according to the VC, are provision of state-of-the-art facilities and cutting-edge technology, construction of mega laboratory, and provision of additional vehicles, among others.
This challenge and with occasion downturn with the national economy necessitated the management to seek out for interventions to assist the government funding and improve the infrastructure levels of the institution.
Responding Managing Director NEDC Mohammed Goni Alkali commended Borno State government's foresight in establishing a state university.
We also have the constraint of resources, but that will not stop us from assisting the university or any other organization that need to assist it, because this is part of our mandate.
Mohammed Goni Alkali further assured the state university that the commission will be liaising with the institution to support it achieve its mandate. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
That's all for now. On Nationwide from Maiduguri is back to Ruth in Abuja.
Thank you very much, Mohammed. Let's look at the aviation scene. Passengers who have been waiting to embark on a foreign trip as soon as the airport reopens departed the international wing of Abuja Airport to get to their destinations, as Ethiopian Airline made history to be the first to touch down as international flight begins in Abuja. Aviation correspondent Emmanuel Ayemiro reports that about 300 passengers departed to Addis Ababa, while 120 passengers arrived. And 27 Nigerian ladies stranded in Lebanon have returned to Nigeria safely. In a statement by Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the returnees arrived in Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, and were all tested negative for COVID-19 before departure, according to the international travel protocol. The statement added that the ladies have been allowed to go to their various homes after necessary documentation in order to be reunited with their families. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has been urged to impute more efficiency in the power sector, particularly with comprehensive policy guidelines to checkmate erring power distribution companies in the country. Guests on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria are optimistic that efficient supply will result in efficient payment and more commitment from consumers when they get value for their money. Leader Sampson reports.
This electricity tariff increase is said to be categorized on hours of availability. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria, however, say without a database to holistically review consumption and challenges, the tariff increase may be meaningless.
At the end of the day, this subsidy is going to the rich. The people who consume so much electricity and are paying the same thing. If you live in Maitama, you're paying the same thing with people in Karu for the same product, and you're consuming a lot of that. So it's a way to take out the subsidy. The question that most people should ask is, when you take out this subsidy, government, where are you putting it? Are you using it to make the life of the people who need health, education better?
So many low-hanging fruits, and of course, maybe in the medium to long term, there will be increase in capacity in terms of availability of hours, maybe more hours, better quality service. But the real thing here is creativity in managing all these processes to ensure that the people understand that, yes, there will be momentary convenience for everybody. And the regulator comes out to show the people the roadmap, how they will improve the service of the operators.
While agreeing that there is no right time to increase tariffs, the guests called for more transparency in the operations of discourse, urging them to provide a schedule that will help consumers plan.
In the coming days, we intend to publish that so that customers can know precisely where they fall into. Vandalism has been a major issue. So when you now say, I will not have supply on this feeder, I will have supply on this feeder, you are telling the vandal that that feeder is cold and he can go and do anything on it.
The AEDC that we are using is in an urban environment. Nigeria, you have 774 local government areas in 36 states, out of which majority of the consumers are at the rural areas at the local government and the states. What is their feeling about this? Let me give you an example. The category D and E, the people at the rural areas have been paying more than what they should pay.
Sympathizing with the situation where most businesses are forced to run on generators, the guests are optimistic that the increased tariff, when channeled towards more productive ventures, will provide medium and long-term GDP growth for the overall good of the people. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
Knowing the right thing to engrave on an award is hard to come by, depending on the achievement or what the person is being recognized for. The National Youth Network of Nigeria has no difficulty in doing so when it conferred a National Professional and Leadership Excellence Award on the Executive Director News Nigerian Television Authority, Mohammed Labo. The award is in recognition of how the veteran journalist discharges his duties and his immense contributions to ensuring youths achieve their potential and contribute to nation building. Receiving the award, the Executive Director News, Mohammed Labo, says youth's development is key to the country's development. As such, NTA will promote the various youth empowerment programs put in place by the government aimed at ensuring that the future leaders contribute meaningfully to nation building.
And really to support what government is doing in respect of the Nigerian youth and what any organization is doing, long as it is for the well-being of the Nigerian youth.
The award seeks to mobilize and equip the awardee with the impetus to be a father to the youth, a mentor to the youth, a celebrated leader of the youth, a standard as someone who has shouldered himself with any challenge that ravages the youth.